Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are the recently released remakes of the Diamond and Pearl games originally released in 2006 on the DS as the fourth generation Pokemon games. Being the most recent Nintendo release, they of course have been something of the talk of the town, so you might be interested, but not sure quite yet if they're for you. Hopefully this video will help. This is the first episode of my new series, 2 Hours In. It's inspired by Steam's policy of allowing returns for games that have been played for less than 2 hours. Once you've reached that playtime, you're stuck with the game, unless something goes deeply wrong with the software. So, I figured a series in which I recount my experiences and thoughts during the first 2 hours of a game to see if it has promise might be interesting and or useful to the discerning gamer. To make sure I could review both fairly, I played the first 2 hours of both Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, though thus far the only real difference has been flavor text. So there's no noteworthy differences for me to discuss as of yet, as I'm sure many of you could have told me. But I'm a fair reviewer, so I must make certain of stuff like this for myself. Like most Pokemon games, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl follow the same basic formula. You get introduced to the world by the game's professor, then you can customize your character, with these games allowing you to choose between male, female, and from one of 4 races. After that, you have a short jaunt through the starter town, then you choose your first Pokemon in the heat of battle. You can choose between Piplup, Chimchar, and Turtwig. I chose a Piplup I named Pickup Truck for my Brilliant Diamond playthrough, and a Turtwig I named Tortwig for my Shining Pearl playthrough. Take that, Chimchar. After that, a short meeting with the professor, a few tutorial areas, and I was off on my Pokemon adventure. Tortwig proved to be the easier choice. He was a tank and at a type advantage for most of the earliest battles. Or at least, was facing opponents that didn't have high enough levels to have any moves that Tortwig was weak to. Pickup Truck, however, was much weaker and fainted during one of my first trainer battles due to my not realizing the opposing aggro was using an electric move. I literally only made it out because I used my Starly's quick attack at the last possible second. But it cost me my Bidoof and Pickup Truck. I'm the type of guy who plays Pokemon on hardcore, meaning that if my Pokemon faints, it's effectively dead and I must release it. I also can't catch a Pokemon that's been in my party and died. I can, however, catch the evolved version. This is not a requirement. You can play Pokemon casually. It's just a challenge I like to indulge in. Like a Diet Nuzlocke. Because of my tendencies and lack of willingness to accept risk, as it's game over for me if all my Pokemon faint, I spent most of my time in Brilliant Diamond trying to make up for my losses by over-leveling, since the only Pokemon I had were at a type disadvantage for the first gym, which was Rock-type. Like most all Pokemon games, the gyms are each one of 8 types, and all Pokemon found there are of that type. Tortwig, being a grass Pokemon, was ideal for facing the gym, and swept the trainers and gym leader. After that, my 2 hours were pretty much up. Pickup Truck, being a water type, also would have done well, but death came all too soon, and with my hanging back to overlevel, I didn't get all that far in the first 2 hours of that playthrough. Chimchar would have been the choice to make if you wanted the biggest challenge. Chimchar is the only Pokemon to not be at a type advantage for the first gym. So go for Turtwig if you want it easier, Piplup for middle of the road, and Chimchar for the most difficulty. One annoying thing the game does is make you go through non-optional tutorial segments. It literally made me watch as the AI caught a Pokemon I'd already caught. However, I was rewarded with 20 Pokeballs, so I guess it's not all bad. Thankfully, areas like that are few and far between. Also, for some reason, you are really slow in the opening minutes of the game. But as soon as you set out proper, you're given running shoes and now move at an actually reasonable pace. The other problem I faced in my first 2 hours was some frame stuttering. There's a day 1 patch you need to get, and as far as I'm aware, it ain't optional. But you can play while it's downloading, and play I did. The frame stuttering became much rarer after the download finished, so hopefully it won't be a problem in the future. But there's no guarantee. One thing that has been off-putting for some has been the chibi-fied overworld, which is meant to be a reference to the original versions of the games, but they were like that mostly due to the technical limitations of the DS. So some have expressed extreme dislike for it. Personally, I think it's fine. It's not my preference, but it's not bad. Plus the trainers look more normal once you enter a fight. Whether or not the art style is good is up to you. However, one thing I think we can agree on is that the graphics are excellent, by Pokemon standards. The designs, animations, and lighting are all top notch. The sound design is also excellent. The noises the Pokemon make, the sounds of your footsteps changing as soon as you step onto a different surface, all of it makes for a very fluid gameplay experience. However, the standout to me has got to be the music. Every piece thus far has absolutely slapped. Not a single miss. Gets you relaxed when in towns and your blood pumping when in battle. However, the transitions could use some work. When you enter a new area, instead of transitioning from one piece to another, the songs just kinda end and change to whichever one is meant for the area you're in. Being turn based RPGs, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are very accessible games. A fair number of the types are easy to infer the strengths and weaknesses of, and since there's no time limit, you're welcome to take all the time you need in a fight. One of the biggest strengths of Pokemon games is the sheer number of options you have while playing. Want to catch as many as you can as fast as you can? Go for it. Want to rush through it and face the gym as soon as possible? Go for it. But probably level up a bit first. Want to literally only ever use your starter Pokemon for the entire game and not catch a single Pokemon more? Go for it. You'll definitely need to overlevel, but go for it. You can play casually, do a hardcore like me, or a Nuzlocke for even more challenge. The level of difficulty is completely up to you. You can go into this game blind, but it does help to at least have a type chart at your disposal. I'd also advise exploring as much as possible. You have a specific route you have to take, but you can usually get into some portion of the areas you can fully visit later. It's because of this I'll likely be able to save my Brilliant Diamond playthrough. Since I caught a water type with an old rod, I got maybe a bit on the early side. While there were instances of frame stuttering, the non optional tutorials were tiring, and the art style took some getting used to. The graphics, sound design, and music are all delightful, and the core gameplay, while familiar, is as strong as ever. So, do the first 2 hours show promise? Well, these are remakes of classic and beloved games, so the answer is a bit obvious. But yes.
Okay, I just remembered what happened with the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition, so, I guess it's not so obvious.
If you're a fan of Pokemon, if you're someone who's looking at trying out the franchise, or someone who's looking for a new game to play over the weekend, the first 2 hours of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl tell me that these games are perfect for you. With all that being said, this is GW, wishing you good night, good day, and good friggin' bye.